Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I'm recording this video to kind of get community's thoughts and opinions, your thoughts and opinions about these buffs, because I have done quite a bit of testing. I haven't like fully delved into each champion. Also, you know, I am not part of CCP, therefore I am testing champions at whichever rank levels I have, because I'm not gonna take up, you know, these champions and start rank 4 just to test them, or even rank 3. Therefore some results might be mixed. But, you know, before somebody comes to my comment section and again screams at me how bad and negative and evil I am because I don't love every new thing Kabam does, I want to share my thoughts and opinions with you guys, but I definitely also want to hear from you. Because, like, the way I see these buffs, for most part, I don't think without an exception, all of these buffs, I will say, are kind of less than I hoped they would be on a personal level. There are a couple of champs that have been made more effective and then have potentially a chance to kind of be relevant and sought after and ranked up champions. So out of all of these tune-ups, I think, you know, Vision Arcus obviously is a lot better. There's no question about it. He has more damage. He's faster in the fights. He does what he was designed to do better. The problem with Vision Arcus, on the other hand, is he doesn't do much of what we would want a champion to do for us to rank him up. Because if we, for instance, look at how well he counters current tech options in my testing against Zola, you can use him and he can do that fight, but, you know, that fight's kind of like using Kushala. You have to be extremely good at reparry and hope that AI doesn't just, you know, throw heavies all the time. But, you know, once you do get that level 3 off, level 1s, you do reasonable damage, but it's not like a super easy fight. But then we have champions on top of everything else, like, you know, Sentinel, for instance. It's not like the best time. Solwark, you can do it, but again, it's not like the best matchup against Solwark, and that's like one of the more relevant defenders. As I mentioned just now, you know, Sentinel, he doesn't really do anything to Sentinel because he's like immune to both. And then we have like plenty of random matchups in tech class where, for instance, I don't know, like Warlock is immune to Cold Snap. So when it comes to taking a look at his matchup spread, I don't think it's the best. So although I do think Vision probably has like marginally the biggest improvement, it's not like I want to rank up him. It's not like he's like super crazy because he still, you know, want to be going for the level 2, level 1s. It's still a fairly... We'll see how, again, it scales up with higher ranks. But I think the biggest improvement is there. Then we have, like, Sandman and Emma. And I will be posting kind of like my buffs ranked once I have finished testing all of them properly. And I think Emma is probably the champion with the best chance to be somewhat relevant. Because her damage is, you know, noticeably higher. She can kind of nuke a lot of matchups with like just going straight level 2 now. And, you know, she already had some reasonable utility in there. But again, at the same time, like, you know, she's obviously not the greatest against Yelena. And then we will need to look at which matchups they do. And I think that was kind of like one of the key errors with many of these buffs, where they tried to make these quality of life improvements or like maybe give them a tiny boosts in terms of damage, but that's like not necessarily what a good useful champion make these days. For majority of use, it's like what matchups they can do, how versatile they are, and the answer for many of these are not necessarily the best. Also, Sandman, this is something that I kind of have gut feeling to, and perhaps I am fairly biased here. With Sandman, I think Sandman's usability highly depends on how much you can reach with one rotation, kind of like with Shocker, where Shocker was considered to be like a very, very bad champion, and then after his tune-up, he was considered to be good because he could nuke champs with like level 1, level 2 heavy done, and that immediately transformed him into a somewhat popular champion. I think with Sandman it could be a similar case, which is again is impossible for me to test, but if you can finish off opponents with like a single level 2 rotation by throwing a few heavy attacks before, or level 1, level 2 rotation, I think then that's fine. I think Sandman potentially has a place in a game to a bigger extent that you had before. Storm in my testing slightly better, but not like majorly better. But then we have like the rest of these champions. And most of these I have tested. And like Jabari, she was slower in like a generic fight. I think arguably she's better in like a debuff heavy fight. That's fine. But again, she barely does half the relevant science matchup. So I don't know why they felt the need to reduce that precision by so much. I don't know why. There's no kind of like extra benefit for entering your hunt mode with more charges, perhaps an extended duration or something. The buff tune-up definitely kind of feels incomplete, and therefore I think I liked her a bit better before. Lady Deathstrike is again marginally better, but you know, every single thing that you would use Lady Deathstrike before, I think you'd use her now, and basically nothing changes there. Sam Wilson, I need to do more testing, but I was like hyper impressed. Korg was absolutely awful. Core Exchange is just abysmal. In short, mid, or long form content, he's just crap still. Man-Thing, again, they have adjusted Man-Thing in a way where you do not nullify on contact anymore. And offensively, that's kind of annoying, because previously you could nullify a buff from opponent just by hitting them, replace that with Pustule, triggering your MD, and then you could like drop an L level 2 to trigger MD again when you nullify the Pustule. And he's kind of like, again, his smart is more consistent or something, but that was never the problem with Man-Thing. The problem with Man-Thing was just lack of damage. They should have, amped up his poison numbers, amped up his fury numbers or something, because, again, in my testing, I think the times were, like, relatively the same. What else we have? Like, Toad we tested, and again, I don't think there's, like, any major change. Like, if you liked Toad before, you're gonna like him now. There's nothing kind of crazy adjusted to that. And the final one is iDoom. And again, iDoom has like the super armor buff that doesn't get nullified, which, is cool. Every other change made item is just dumb, really. Especially that do not power drain on the first hit of the heavy attack. You never had to. You could literally just charge your heavy attack, not connect your first hit, and drop your level 2. So, this, objectively, to me, as somebody who has spent good 5-6 hours messing and testing with these new champions, as a whole, is far and away most depressing batch of buffs. I think at large, half of these champions did not get better in any meaningful way. And I think half of these champions went from being, let's say, mid to slightly above average. Again, I do reserve judgment still kind of for Sandman, Emma. But it's very hard for me to see any other one of these tune-ups to be... Like, this is going to be the way I put it. I think in a year's time, we will even forget that these champions did get tune-up. Because virtually no one, or vast minority of the MCOC player base, will be using these champions, or will feel like they are tuned or buffed versions of champions. I think that's the best way to describe most of these. I think they are just utterly inconsequential. And for the love of me, for the life of me, I can't figure out why. I can't figure out why, for instance, when you buff Jabari Panther, you do help her in one way, but then you bring her down so much so in different ways, then the end result is virtually the same, or she's arguably the worst. I can't understand that logic there, where, for instance, you're taking a champion like, I don't know, Man-Thing, and you know that Man-Thing is not, a great offensive champion, and there's a chance to make him better. It's like, why not just pump those numbers up a bit? Just so he's in line with nobody like Nuki, but, allow him to do fights in reasonable time. Or like Korg. We made this whole big fuss about how Korg, Korg has always been like somewhat of a relevant defender. He's kind of faded away recently, but there was this whole theater made like, oh, Korg's gonna be good on attack now. It's like, no, he fucking isn't. He just isn't. He's still shit. Like, oh, he's gonna be able to stack up to 9 bleeds. Yeah, but those bleeds are like 3 times weaker than they used to be now. It's like, still, it's exhausting. Like, I wasn't, like, I think this is like the most disappointing batch of buffs that we have had in the history of MCOC. And that is me starting with the assumption that most of these will be fairly mid and maybe one or two is going to turn champion into like a meta champion. The reality is tier below that. Almost all of these buffs are just plain bad, and maybe one or two of these will potentially somehow make these champions like on the edge, you know, kind of useful. I'll do some more testing, because, you know, I have played with all of the buff champions, but I haven't like jumped and deep dived all of them properly. And I am purposely have been avoiding discussing magic, because I think magic is a whole different kind of worms, and magic's video is going to be the next one. Because again, I think I'm going to piss off a lot of people with my magic video. But we'll get to it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Because to me, they are a head scratcher. Like, to me, this largely seemed like a busy work, where might as well not have happened. At least half of them. I think at least half of them, if you didn't change anything to Korg, if you didn't change anything to Man-Thing, if you didn't change anything to, I don't know, Toad or Jabari Panther, nothing would have, you know, nothing of any meaningful relevance would have been adjusted. I think somebody just wasted a crap ton of time and Kabam's payroll to do these when they're absolutely inconsequential. So let me know what you think. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have